Well, I guess I'll get started. Thank you for coming to the NAMM show, and particularly the Hal Leonard booth. I am more than aware that you didn't come here to see me hit a wooden box, so I appreciate you standing here watching this. My name is Paul Jennings, and I am lucky enough to be the author of the Hal Leonard Cajon method book. I also did the Hal Leonard djembe book as well, and it was kind of a cool thing that happened. I have my own YouTube channel and things for lessons, and Hal Leonard, Jeff Schradel reached out to me and said, would you be interested in authoring the Hal Leonard Cajon method? To which I said, well, yes, of course. So here we are today. So I guess I'm just going to play some Cajon for you at first, and then we'll see what happens after that. But yeah, this is, for those who don't know, the thing I'm sitting on is a Cajon, originally a Peruvian instrument, although it's also found in Cuba, sort of historically, and now it's in Spain in the flamenco tradition. But more recently, it's being used in rock music and funk and all kinds of stuff. So I'll quit yakking and play some stuff for you. Thank you. Yeah, so thanks guys, appreciate that. This is really a snare cajon that I'm sitting on. It's a tycoon cajon. The actually Hal Leonard, wonderful distributors of all kinds of musical products are now distributing, so check those out if you haven't already. I'm sure most of you already have, as soon as you're wearing Hal Leonard badges. Yeah, so about the book, the Cajon method book, essentially what I wanted to go for was something that could be approached if you had no idea about the Cajon, if you literally just picked one up for the first time, you didn't know the basics, and then you could get into the basics with some exercises and technique building things, and then go from there with some basic grooves, and then it goes into some traditional kind of flamenco and Afro-Peruvian stuff. The Afro-Peruvian stuff is a little harder to kind of grasp, although I thought it was important to put it in there because, as I said, the cajon is really traditionally an Afro-Peruvian instrument, so to not have any Afro-Peruvian grooves in the first method would be kind of weird, I thought. So then it goes into some more kind of advanced techniques and using things like brushes, which I'll show you in a little bit, and also a cymbal. I tried to get a cymbal here, but nobody would lend me one. I think they thought I was going to steal it or something. So I don't have a cymbal, but I do have some other things. Yeah, so that's the thing about the cajon, is you can do a lot of other things with it. You can use other drums, you can use shakers, So I'm going to give you an example of some different things you can do with the cajon, not just playing on the cajon. You can use a shaker, for example, play like a kind of rock groove. That's another thing you could do with the cajon. This is also a Tycoon shaker as distributed by Hal Leonard Corporation. Now, I'd like to show you a special secret weapon. This here is the cajon brush, which is actually something that I made myself, developed myself, which subsequently is now also being distributed by Hal Leonard Corporation. Funny how that happened, but it's really cool. Actually, I'll tell you a wee story. When I first got my first order from Hal Leonard, it wasn't probably the sort of quantities that they're used to working in, so I actually drove down to their warehouse in Winona from Minneapolis and hand delivered this little box to their like enormous compound. It was like, hi, Paul Jennings here with my brushes. So I think it's really cool that Hal Leonard are not only a global giant, but they're also willing to take up some littler guys working out of their sheds. So an ode to you guys for that, for sure. So I'll give you a little example of using the brushes. I kind of hold them like this, you know, kind of not like conventional drumsticks because it's a bit harder to get to, so I kind of flip it around. It's a little bit like a kind of reverse traditional grip with both hands, like the traditional drum set grip, but using it with both hands and then just kind of pointing it down like this. So I'll see if I can make some sense out of this. So yeah, these brushes are kind of a little. Thank you very much. You do. Thank you. Yeah, these are a little different from conventional brushes. I made the brush a bit thicker. It's got a 1-inch diameter because I found that a lot of brushes, like conventional brushes that you use for drum set, were you couldn't really get the bass response. So I wanted to make it a bit thicker so you could kind of get that nice bass. And also kind of use the natural woods because it kind of goes in turn with the cajon itself. So yeah, that's the cajon brush. Check it out over there at their percussion bit if you fancy. Yeah, thanks. Another little thing that I like to use, I just want to show you this quickly. This is really cool. It's not actually a Tycoon thing, it's a Remo thing, so sorry, but okay, yeah, is that cool? Right. But yeah, I went and snagged one off Remo earlier. It's a little guiro that you actually stick on the side of the cajon, so this is kind of cool as well. It's just like a little guiro, scrapey little thing that you can stick to the side of the cajon. I'm going to play like a little solo, and then I'm actually going to... Are you up for it? I'm going to ask a very good friend of mine, Heidi Joubert, who's a cajon player from originally South Africa, but she lives in London now. And it's interesting because Vincent Pierce Smith is also standing there, two very prominent percussionist cajon players, so check those guys out as well. But Heidi, if you're up for it in a bit...
Whenever you're ready, baby.
Can I get your hands? Thank you. I sort of took the wind out of me at the end there.